Hey, welcome to This is Wheelie Good Part 2. So in this one we're going to make a tyre to fit around the wheel that you made last lesson. Obviously this assumes that you've finished the video and you have a complete wheel looking something a bit like this. Very important you followed the sizes in the last video as well. So make sure you got this open and then you're going to go File, Make Assembly from Part. Okay, so it should eventually load up with something like this. It should automatically have wheel over here, and it's got like that little yellow icon. You just need to click, and what that will do is place your wheel into an assembly. So an assembly is like a place we can put multiple parts together. Um, it's very important you're in this mode or you won't be able to do anything else. So I hope you listened to that first bit of the video. Okay, what we're going to do now is go to Insert Components, and we're going to choose a new part. If it just says that, just click Yes. And what I want you to do, don't click. You'll see you've got this little tick with an arrow. What you want to do is find one of the two work planes that passes down the middle. So in my case, if I have a look, it's the front plane. Can we see that passes straight down the center of my wheel? That's the one you're going to pick to draw your wheel, your tire onto. Okay. Now it won't appear to have done anything, but what it will have done is hopefully highlight this new part over here called Part 1. While we're at it, I'm going to right click and rename it and call it Tire, just so we can distinguish between them. And now we're going to go and sketch the tire. So open it up, and there should already be a sketch created if you followed my instructions to the letter. If you didn't do that right, you won't have this, and you'll need to go back and repeat that instruction again. Anyway, right click on Sketch 2 and choose Normal 2, and you'll see we should be looking at the tire side on. What we're going to do here is draw a new axis. So we're still going to use revolve, so we're going to go center line, and we're going to find kind of the middle of our wheel. That can be quite tricky to do, so probably best to just draw a line horizontally, and then with some dimensions, we're going to position it. So I'm going to go up and get the dimension tool, and I'm going to measure first of all from here to here, find out how big it is. It won't actually tell me. Okay, no, we're not going to do that method. I apologize. Right, what we can do is if you hover along the side of the object, can you see if we get about halfway down? Ignore what the shadows are doing. I think they're wrong. We get this little orange blob. We're going to make our line on that blob, and we do that. Just ignore that. We're going to do that by clicking our line, holding Control, and clicking on the blob, and then choosing this one, make midpoint. There we go. Perfect. You should be able to drag it out longer now. It doesn't really matter. All we need is a line that we can spin our tire shape around. Okay, next step, because we want it to fit our wheel pretty closely, we're going to try and draw this shape again, but we're going to cheat. We're not going to draw it all by hand. We're going to steal it. So we're going to come up to, let me just pause this and double check. Yeah, we're going to come up to Convert Entities, and we're going to zoom in on just the top of the tire, and you're going to click not the face, but the kind of the line. So like that edge. You might have to steal that little bit there. We'll tidy this up in a minute. What we're trying to do is just click and select all of these lines that make up this shape. And you'll see it's added them to here. Okay, click the tick when you're happy. Right, now we've got a bit of tidying up to do. This line and this line are too long. So I'm going to use the trim tool to get rid of those up there. Drag a line through it, drag a line through it. And I've got sort of an outline of the inside of my tire now. Okay. Now tires, we're going to start by making them square. So just come up, perhaps in my example, let's say I'm going to draw that. I know mine's got dimensions on it. We're going to make them about that tall, and I'm going to put a dimension on them, make it maybe 7 tall. Okay, that's fine. Now tires are not solid, they're actually hollow in the middle, and we're going to do the same. So I just want you to draw yourself coming up from the middle somewhere, a little box about like that, and we'll put some dimensions on this as well. So I just did that with some lines. So smart dimension, so let's go from here to here, make it, I don't know, 2, from there to there. Let's make it 4. And we'll do the same on this one. From there to there, make it 4. Oh, okay, it won't let me change the size of that one. I think it's because it's stuck to something. This is a good thing. This kind of happens to you guys sometimes. When I drew this, it has snapped itself to a piece of geometry. Can you see this little circular green icon here? If I click on that icon and delete it, I should now be able to, well, maybe it's one of these as well. Let's try that one. There we go. I can now move it. So sometimes it accidentally gets connected to other things when you draw it, and that's why you can't put dimensions on. So I'm going to go and now put my dimension on it. There we go. Okay, we're going to cut out the middle of the tyre, so we do that with trim. Hopefully these tools are becoming a bit more familiar now, and slice through it. So what we've got is a kind of profile of our tyre, and then an axis to spin it round that goes down the middle. Okay, I've just noticed we've got an additional 2 lines here. So while I'm at it, I'm going to trim those away because I don't want to confuse the drawing. And now you should remember the tool we want to use. It is revolve. So we're going to go up to features, revolve, and it should automatically figure it out if you've drawn it correctly. If it doesn't, remember, pick the axis, which would be that, but we've already done that, and then click the tick. Okay, so well done. We've built a tyre around our wheel. Obviously, what we want to do now is add a little bit more detail to it. So you could start by adding some fillets to the corners because tyres aren't dead straight like this. So I'm going to go fillet, and I'm going to pick that edge and that edge. And that's a bit extreme for a fillet. Let's try maybe 5. Probably a bit less than that, 3. Looks about right to me. They have a sidewall. And now we need to kind of put a tread or a pattern onto it to make it a little bit more visually interesting. So that's our next goal. Okay, the way we're going to do that, go and find a work plane. And so I'm going to pick the front work plane, right click and make a new sketch on it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 3 grooves. I'm not going to worry too much about the size of them this time. I'm just going to draw them. These are going to become the main grooves of my tyre. Okay. Press escape when you're done. You can resize them. In fact, I might actually add 4 grooves in. You'll see where this is going in a minute. 1, 2, 2 wide ones in the middle. Okay, and I'm going to go and get another center line. Find the middle of my line, remember, like that. Okay, and now we're going to revolve these, but so this time we're going to do a revolved cut. So rather than revolve boss, I want to cut out these grooves around it. So revolve cut, and oh, something's gone very wrong there. You can see my axis is not in the middle of my object. So you can let's just try this. If that doesn't work, let's delete it. Delete the line and try picking something round. No, it won't allow us to do that. Okay, that's fine. So we're going to need to go back to the sketch and fix whatever the heck's gone wrong there. So let's right click on the sketch, normal to. Clearly my axis is not in the middle. I don't know why I thought it was. Let's go and do another one. I think that must be the midpoint there. Yeah, look, it's snapped. There we go. It's the yellow one. Sorry. Hopefully you guys got it right in the middle first time and didn't have that error. That's better. Okay, so if I go features, revolved cut, there we go. And obviously you can't see the effect of a cut until you press the tick, but nice. So we've now got 4 grooves cut into our tyre. They might be a little bit deep. If you're not happy with how deep they are, you can go and change them. And you do that by going back to your revolve, opening it up. There's the sketch you drew. You can right click and edit that sketch. And then you can just decide to say, bring these up a bit shallower. All right, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring them up a bit less steep. Okay. And then click the return. There we go. That's looking a little bit better. Right, the last thing to do is to put some kind of cross threads on our tyre. And I'm going to do that in just a second. I'm just going to pause the video and come back. Right, in that pause break, I went to get a coffee from the common room because it's too early and I can't think. You probably worked this out by how poor this video is. Yeah, we're going to put some treads onto this now, but we're going to do it with a pattern tool. So Bit like you did the grooves, go and find like the front work plane and make a sketch on it. And what I want you to do is just block in like one of the treads. So just make like a groove. And it should really be the same height as the rest of it. I don't know why that's dipped down. Oh, it doesn't matter too much. In fact, you know what? I'm going to delete that and do it again. I'm going to make it a little bit shallower. So just because I'm really fussy. So like just below the horizon, and maybe I'm going to do one just below the horizon here. Let's snap together. Sorry, I'm just doing Control Z on my keyboard. Okay. Okay, I'm only going to do two because then we'll offset it and do the other two. We're going to revolve this, so I need a line. Make sure you get it in the middle this time, Mr. Winter. So I'm pretty sure that's the middle one there. Yep. So there's my line. Okay, we're going to go feature, this time a solid revolve, but we don't want to go the whole way. We want to do, I don't know, let's try 5 degrees because we're just trying to make a little block. Okay, good, and that's 5 degrees, that's fine, that'll do. That's our little tread pattern. Click the tick if you're happy. And let's just make it a little bit more, I don't know, interesting visually. So I'm going to go and get the fillet tool, fillet, and because treads aren't just blocks nowadays, let's just put a curve like in there, and then maybe a curve on the opposite side. So you've got this kind of S shape. Just trying to get really kind of arty with it. Good, good. There we go. So click the tick when you're done. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a pattern of those grips all around the wheel. So go up to circular pattern, and it wants to know what do you want to pattern. So I'm just going to delete everything in that box, go over here and find. So I actually want to pattern a revolve, so it's revolve 2, the 2 treads I made, and the fillets I applied to them. So there's 2 things we're patterning. The direction, we go up here, choose the direction is anything round. And of course, you now just make sure it's set to equal spacing and choose how many treads you want. So let's try 25. It's not too bad actually. 28. Yeah, I think that looks about right. Click the tick. Nice. That's starting to look quite cool. Okay. What I'd like you to do now is finish it yourself. Obviously, I'd like to put some treads in like this groove and that groove. Do exactly the same process. So go and find yourself a work plane, draw 2 squares, revolve them, maybe put some chamfers or fillet on them, make them a little bit different, but add yourself a tread pattern to the 2 other elements. But that there is part 2 completed once you've done that. So make sure it's got treads all over it. If you wanted to be really clever, I suppose you could like even go and do a sketch on the side here. And I'll give a rec to anyone that can figure this out. You can actually put text on, and you can make text follow a curve. So you could do it like kind of, do you know the old white wall tires, they call them, like old American, like this kind of thing. Like they'd put text on the side of tires, you know, like off-road, whatever, just to make them cool. So you can make like a classic tire, whatever, or just put information on it. Do remember you could go and put the wheel nuts on this thing as well, like the holes for the wheel nuts, tidy it up. But yeah, just make yourself a tyre. I guess the only other thing maybe is to change the material of this, because tyres will be made out of rubber. So you should know how to do that by now. Go up to Edit Appearance. And we definitely want a texture. And we want to go rubber, probably texture, tyre tread, look. There we go. No, actually, it's put a tyre tread texture over it. Maybe you just want textured rubber. That looks better. It's got that kind of rubbery look to it, but hasn't like superimposed a tread over it. Okay, so as you can see, you can do some pretty impressive stuff. I just want to, I know I said I was done with the video, but I just wanted to show you this mode, section view. Okay, if you click that, you've now got the ability to kind of drag this arrow and take a cross section through your tire, which is quite cool. So you can be sure that your tire fits over the rim perfectly. And obviously we may go on to 3D print these parts as well. And we can have a reasonable confidence that we could stretch that tire over the rim and have this cool little scale model. Okay, nice. Yeah. Oh, one other thing, just sorry, keep going, there's always more. When you're in assembly mode, you can make things sort of temporarily invisible. So if I right click on my wheel and click this eye picture, hide components, you see that the wheel is still there, it exists, but it's transparent, it's kind of temporarily disappeared. I can obviously right click on it, click the eye, and bring it back again. And that's a really powerful thing. I can do the same with the tire look. Sorry, return. I could do the same with the tire, make that hidden just so I can check out my wheel, bring it back. So yeah, good. When you've done it, take some pictures of your tire on its own and your tire with your wheel and dump them in your OneNote and you're good to go.